Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Lynn and today I am going to do some stitching. I am using the DMC Diamante, I guess it's a metallic embroidery floss, and you can actually get this from Spellbinders. They sell them in different 4-pack combinations, and so I am using the black thread. The metallic sheen and shine of this, it's a little bit harder to appreciate with the black, but there are golds and silvers. There's even a holographic, gorgeous thread. It drapes beautifully. It's not too stiff as a metallic thread, but also not too kind of floppy. So it does make stitching these stitch dyes really easy. Now I've doubled up on my thread. These threads, they come as 3 twisted strands, and so when you double it up, you'll end up with 6 strands. And so I double it up and then I give it a little bit of a knot. This length of thread here, after it's been folded in half, is about 5 inches long. And I start from the back of my die cut to hide that knot, and then it's just a matter of going from the outside hole to the center hole, and then making your way around that circle. And so very easy stitching. And this is more or less, this is real time that I'm leaving this video, and so you can see just how slow I am at this. I'm sure a lot of people stitch much more quickly than I do, but it is one of those things where it's just kind of fun to do. You don't have to think too hard because the stitch is really simple. You're just going from that outer circle, outer ring of circles to the center each time, so as to create kind of like the spokes on a bicycle wheel. So really simple. And when you're done with your last stitch, I just flip it to the back, and then I kind of slip my needle under a few strands, and then I slip my needle through that little bit of a loop. And this is what it kind of looks like. Hopefully my camera can focus on this so that you can actually see. This is how I like to knot it off on the back, so that it keeps everything nice and secure. And there we go. So now you can kind of see there's that loop that was created, and I just thread my needle through that loop and pull tightly to create a knot. You can do it a second time if you like. One is probably more than enough, but just to show you, I slip the needle under a few strands of the thread on the back side, and then the loop that's created, you just want to slip your needle inside that loop before it disappears on you. So don't tighten it all the way. And then you with this length of thread, I kind of worked out how much I would need to just stitch one of these flowers, and it did end up being about 5 inches. And that's not to say that you need 5 inches for each flower, because really you just need a nice healthy section of few inches towards the end, so that you can do the knots to tie it off, and a little bit at the beginning so you can make that initial knot. But you can see there's not a lot of waste here, so really fun. And I think for really special cards like the one I'm about to make, it's worth the time to do the stitching, because it does create such a special, unique look and texture on a card. So well worth the time to do it, and kind of fun to just have it in front of you when you're maybe watching something on Netflix that is maybe a show you've already seen, and you just need it on the background, because it's amazing how quickly time will fly as you're doing this. Sometimes I'll just stitch a few letters up right before going to bed too, because it's nice and relaxing and just takes your mind off of other things. So I'm starting on a 5x7 card here, and I've taken the 3D embossing folder of the month from February of 2023, and I embossed a panel that is the full card front, 5x7. This is the large die of the month from January of 2023. It's got some gorgeous, fun flowers that some of them sort of resemble the floral design of the embossing folder that I used. So I love that. I think it's nice where when kind of hints of the same design are mimicked in different ways and different elements on your card. So that's why I picked these two as a combination. And I know my mom loves florals, and so I think she'll enjoy seeing all of that detail as well. And of course, if you've watched other videos on my channel, you may already know my mom used to be a seamstress. She used to sew for a wedding dress designer, so I know she's going to really appreciate the the very mediocre sewing job that I did, or stitching job that I did on these letters, but I think she'll really appreciate it, and I'm sure she's never seen a card like this before, so I think she'll definitely love it for how unique it is, but also for how much it really speaks to her and her interests. So the flowers that I'm using, they are actually from kind of leftover gel print panel that I already started to use on a different card, but I just had some left over and couldn't bear to throw it away. So I've kept it, and I'm gonna die cut from it, or I already die cut from it, all of these various size flowers on from the large die of the month. I think this was January. And I'm going to use that in combination with, we get a lot of different greens, different foliage. And so I'm just going to be tucking all of these elements here and there just to add some pops of color with that pink. And keep your eye kind of moving all the way around. And so it's lots of fun. And I love that I know that we've had the stitched alphabet out for a while now, and it's great to now have the punctuation marks and to have the numbers come out, because now you can do some really fun things that allow you to maybe customize maybe birthday cards with the age, and you don't necessarily have to just stick to a specific milestone age. You have all of the numbers from 0 to 9, so you can really turn any age into a milestone birthday. So I think that's really fun. And then with the punctuation marks, it's quite a variety you have there, because fun to see the exclamation point, the hashtag or the number sign, and the question mark. I think those are rather common that I would expect. The sort of quotes and colon and the period or comma, apostrophe, however you want to use it. I think those I can definitely see definitely makes sense. The 3 circles could be ellipses also, so I think that's kind of cool. Even the @ sign I could expect to see, but the parentheses, how novel is that? I think that's pretty awesome. I don't think I have a parentheses in die cut or stamp form. So I think that's kind of cool. And where I think that would be really fun to play with is I've seen stamps where they have the, in parentheses, they have the, a word and the definition of that word. So for example, there would be like the word beautiful, and then there would be like the dictionary definition of beautiful, and all of that would be in parentheses. I think that's kind of fun to have the dies, and then you can maybe do something similar to that. So that's something to noodle on. I want to kind of play with that idea a little bit, but the first thing I thought to do is, given that Mother's Day is coming up, to make this Mother's Day card for my mom. And this card has so much dimension because I did use 3D glue gel to adhere the stitched letter onto its shadow layer. And then I used some more 3D glue gel and some foam to attach all of the stitched elements to the card base. And part of the reason for using the combination of the two is because the 3D embossing folders just have so much dimension to them. And so anytime I'm trying to adhere anything onto a 3D embossed folder, or panel, I do like to use my 3D glue gel. Even when I am not looking for dimension, I just like to use it so that it does get into all of the nooks and crannies of that embossed panel, because there's some areas that are really raised quite a lot. There's some areas that aren't raised as much. And that 3D glue gel can just go wherever it needs to go and will help to make really firm contact. So I use that regardless of whether I'm looking for additional dimension, because I think that's just going to yield a firmer hold. But here is a close-up look. You can see all of that embossed detail. Kept it white so that it's nice and simple, but it's just that little bit of extra texture and design. And I love the soft pink flowers, and of course that really unique stitched element. I hope that you enjoyed this card today, and until next time, happy crafting and have a fantastic day. Bye.